The other day was Veterans Day, and I was given the honor in my hometown of Englewood, here in New Jersey, to speak to our veterans and to our active men and women in uniform in our town. And I said to them, I have no right to speak to any of you. I, who focus on my books and sales and ratings, what right do I have to address you? To travel across the world to fight for complete strangers, to give them dignity, to make sure that women in Kandahar and Kabul are not pinned down to the floor, as we saw on the cover of Time magazine 3 months ago, having their noses and ears cut off because she was insolent to her in-laws. What right do I have to speak to any of you? When the brave soldiers of the United States military, who are the world's greatest heroes, they earn lousy salaries and they dodge bullets. When they go out to save human life, where do you think that value came from? Who told them that a stranger's life is of infinite value? It is the Jewish people who conveyed these ideas to the rest of the world. And if Israel doesn't show it, if the world cannot see that that Jewish state, which is ultimately the encapsulation of all Jewish values, all Jewish dreams, all Jewish aspirations, if that little tiny state doesn't stand first and foremost for promoting life, then what do we as a nation stand for? I was in Yerushalayim for Sukkot, and there was a man walking on those walls near in the old city of Jerusalem, an American tourist, and he fell. And it looked very serious. He had blood gushing from his skull. It was terrible. Within minutes, the ambulance came, and I'm listening in Hebrew, and the driver says, "Nikach oto miyad le'Ein Kerem." We will take him immediately to Hadassah's hospital in Ein Kerem. Do you understand that American Jews have created Israel's most mainstream hospitals? American Jews, do you understand the magnitude of the achievement? It shows that we're not a bunch of selfish Jewish American narcissists. We don't just worry about the wall-to-wall carpeting. When Jews came to the United States, we had a choice. We could have gone to Israel, many of us. And we came to what was known then, your parents and grandparents will remember, the Golden Medina. The streets were paved with gold. And this great nation, and America is a godly and righteous nation. What a country this is. This great nation, which today is drowning in a suffocating selfishness. My gosh, our kids, they wake up in the morning and they put out to their 200 Facebook friends what they're eating for breakfast. Every day is the Truman Show. This great nation that was built on sacrifice, it was built on selflessness. And we read about the Jews of Israel who face a mortal threat. Anyone ever hear of hospitals that have to have bunkers built in them? In our beautiful hospital in Englewood, we don't have bunkers built in them. And there aren't metal detectors as you walk in. And we have a choice. We can be part of the culture of selfishness and narcissism. It won't last, by the way. We took the greatest economy in the history of the world, a $10 trillion a year economy, $10 trillion GDP, and we collapsed it because even that wasn't enough. Even that was, we need more. All the homes we had, not big enough. The cars we had, not new enough. We can choose to live that way, or we can understand that prosperity is designed to breed humility. You know, in today's Torah reading, I have to tell you, there's one word that it only appears once. It's a beautiful word. You should try to remember it in its original Hebrew. The word is katonti. I have been humbled. Jacob is fleeing from Esau. He's about to confront him again, and he says to God, you know, when I crossed the Jordan River, I had nothing. I didn't have a shirt on my back. And now, I am now 2 camps. And I have sheep and goats. I'm very wealthy. What happens to most people as they become wealthy? They become arrogant. They become self-absorbed. That's the danger. But Jacob says, I know that this is a gift. I have therefore been humble. Katonti. Later, in this incredible dialogue between Esau and Jacob, Jacob says to Esau, take this gift from me. I want you to have it. He's trying to appease him. He's scared. And Esau says, no, my brother, I don't want to take the gift. Because yesh li rov, I have so much. I have tons. And Jacob responds and he says, no, I want you to take the gift. I don't have tons, but yesh li kol, I have everything I need. Not excess, but everything I need. My friends, we know that as American Jews, we have, thank God, all that we need. And those who, like Esau, still want more and more and more and become voracious. And they become insatiable. You know, I see it as a malady that's beginning to affect our self-esteem. To return quickly to one of the great questions of American culture that I mentioned before, no one can explain today why it is that women are more successful than ever and more unhappy than ever. If you remember, Time magazine, May 2009, last year, did an entire cover story about it. 3 out of the last 4 secretaries of state were women. Today, 60% of all college degrees are earned by women. Anyone who's a teacher in elementary school here will know that the boys can't even compete with the girls anymore. There's a crisis in trying to get the boys in school just to get the same grades as the girls. So amidst this phenomenal outbreak of success, why are there skyrocketing levels of female unhappiness and depression? If you read the Time magazine cover story, there were like 3 competing theories, each canceling the other out. I want to offer you an idea about this for a moment. One of the most important Jewish values, and it comes from this word, Yisrael, he who wrestles with God, is this. I believe that in America, we live under the tyranny of perfection. Let me tell you what I mean by that. The tyranny of perfection is where a perfect ideal is held out before you at all times, and you're compared to that perfect ideal, and you're expected to somehow measure up to it. So for example, our Christian brothers and sisters worship a perfect God. Jesus is divine. If you even suggest something innocuous, like he married Mary Magdalene, as Dan Brown said in the Da Vinci Code, our Christian brothers and sisters will take offense. That is sacrilege in the religion. And I debated Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, the Cardinal Archbishop of Washington, D.C. This is on CNN on Good Friday. And he said the book is terrible. I said, well, I understand that the book doesn't follow Christian orthodoxy, but why are you offended by it? And he said, Rabbi Shmuley, do you not understand that if you suggest that Jesus needs the love of a woman, you're saying that he's incomplete. You're saying that he got lonely. A perfect man would never get lonely. Which is why so many of you are married to perfect husbands. But it's not only Christianity. Our Islamic brothers and sisters have the same thing. If you caricature the prophet, as some did in Holland, you might spark riots throughout the world. You can't be critical because the prophet was perfect. But even the Buddhists believe this about the enlightened one, about the Buddha, that once he became enlightened, he also became perfect. It's true also in American history and hagiography. When I was a little boy, they told me that George Washington was so honest, he never told a lie. And the net result was, when he one day chopped down a cherry tree and his dad said, hey, who did that, George? He couldn't lie and he confessed to it. Abraham Lincoln was so perfect that when he was once overpaid a single penny by a storekeeper, he trekked the Sahara, he built a rocket ship, and he went back to Neptune to return it, because Honest Abe got imprinted on our penny because he returned that penny. Martin Luther King, arguably the greatest American of the 20th century, who returned this country to its founding ideals of true human brotherhood and equality. We were told that he was perfect, until one by one, all of these illusions were shattered. In 1987, a book was published called American Sphinx that revealed that Thomas Jefferson owned 155 slaves and impregnated one of them named Sally Hemings, and they had 6 children together. My gosh, the man who gave voice to the human aspirations for freedom did that. We discovered that George Washington, written by the same Joseph Ellis, in his book, His Excellency,